Welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. I am your host, Augustine Ayinbisa Ayela. To seek permission to speak, I rise before my father and my mother, the two individuals who taught me right from wrong. I rise before my grandfather and grandmother, whom I call my first ancestors. I rise before the deities, the land deities, the water deities, and the sky deities. I rise before the goddesses, especially the goddess Ma'at, to grant us balance, so that after this conversation, people will learn. I rise before the gods, especially the god Jehuti, the god that has endowed me with the power of speech to do this work on a weekly basis. And finally, I rise before the Supreme Being, Amon-Ra, whom my tradition, Bakabko, calls Nawini, to grant a stay in power, so that after this interview with this talented lady, many people will recognize the artistic history of our people. And with that prayer, I know I'm permitted to speak. We know. Since the inception of divine speech in African traditionalism, we have no luck in booking female guests. I had the pleasure of interviewing only one lady, Mambo Queen Rose Pierre Noel, a high priestess of Haitian voodoo, and recently Mrs. Serapha Gunu, who is recognized as one of the most talented among performing artists in Ghana. Today, Divine Speech is pleasure-filled to have Miss Myrtle Deanna Choice, an artist of extraordinary talent. She recently exhibited her work called the Black and White Tapestry series, Evolutionary Harmony of Colors, at the Greenton I. Will Library at 1500 Central Park Avenue in Yonkers, New York. That is where Divine Speech extended an invitation to Miss Choice to our studios for an interview. We cannot hide our excitement of her acceptance. Miss Choice, welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism.
Thank you for having me.
It seems I have already spoken a lot about you. Why don't you please tell us about yourself, where you were born, what life was like for you as a child, and how you rose to be who you are today.
Wow. I was born in Valdosta, Georgia, here in the USA. My life as a child, I'm one of 8 children.
Whoa.
From my parents, Charles and Haroline Choice.
Okay.
And I'm the middle of the girls, 2 girls and 5 boys. Our parents, my parents were both ministers, and activists,
Okay.
as far as working in the community and working with people. And their response to me was always just do my best. Mm-hmm. No matter what it was that I was doing, just do my best. Right. Education was always number 1 importance, mm-hmm. also for me.
Okay.
And as a child, I began playing sports and running behind my brothers and things. And by the time I was 14, I was running with different runners across the country as far as in track and field.
Okay.
And I went on to become state champion in the long jump. I also ran sprints
My
and
goodness.
hurdles. In the 80s, I also I ran with World Class Track Club
Right.
with Jackie Joyner and FloJo back in the 80s. I know they were the 1984 Olympics, I do believe, 84, 88, I think was the one in Seoul, Korea, where FloJo set 4 different records. So it was
Right.
like beautiful.
Mm.
Yes.
So
And
you were in the part of that group?
yes, yes. Yes, I was part of that group.
Okay.
And so it was the discipline, the education, and so those were the skills that I was given early on. So I wanted to run,
Okay.
and I enjoyed it, and it was fun. As long as my classwork and my schoolwork was kept up, I was able to.
Right. Okay, while reading your bio, I learned that you are self-taught. I mean, art is such a difficult subject to master. How did you start?
Well, first, I don't feel yet that I've mastered it. I'm
Right.
still, you know,
Okay.
I feel like I will spend a lifetime
Okay.
working to master this.
Right.
Yes. It was a gift that came to me. One of my artist friends came into town and, you know, handed me the paintbrush, and that's where it started. Yeah.
You recently exhibited your work at the Greenton I Will Library in Yonkers.
Yes.
How did that come about?
The way that came about was through the executive director
Okay.
over there at the Glinton I Will Library. The director's name is Mr. Amoya.
Okay.
Yes, he is Ghanaian from the Akan tribe.
Right.
And he was interested in, he asked me to come over and I brought my artwork over and sat and talked to him, and they gave me a time to show.
Okay. We're going to be rolling in some of your work so that you can explain to us, you know, what exactly it is, because most of us, we see art, we just look, but we don't know exactly what it means, you know. So we're going to be rolling your work, and then you tell us. But before we do that, this is a quote from you. God's grace and love has brought me here. The black and white boxes exist, but the harmony of all colors propels me ahead.
Yes.
What exactly does this quotation mean?
It was a piece that I painted in 2009 at the Federation of the East Village Artists in the East Village at Thompson Square, and the piece is over 8 feet tall. And it was just by God's grace that I was there. I was in this city and able to paint, you know, this piece. And I consider all my expressions and all the works that you will be seeing a gift. And, you know, this is my gift as an artist, because I think as artists, we do have a responsibility to show history in the way, using it in the way that we understand it. If I'm a writer, then I write it. Since I'm a painter, I'm painting it. But I'm an abstract painter. So now we say, okay, here's the black and white boxes. And that gets into the title of the show, Black and White Tapestry, is about interwoven, you know, us mingling together, blacks and whites, because black in paints is all colors. So everything comes, all colors come from black. And then when you look and if you understand history, and then you realize that history showed you we all came from Africa.
Right.
Okay? So, and then the reverse of it, I had a friend said to me, well, you know, the reverse of that is the absence of color, but then you're speaking in a light theory where you're talking about like a black hole
Right.
in space and things like that.
Right.
So I wanted to put the word out there to let everyone know we can find a way.
Right.
We can evolve into a way of harmonizing all colors.
Right.
You know, we don't have to be separate in this because we all come from one source.
So we're going to roll in one of your pieces
Okay.
so that you explain to us what exactly it is. What are we watching here?
That is the fish and the angel swimming.
Okay.
And that's about nature and spirit coexisting. It's like, where and how do I fit in this perspective of life's marathon?
Right.
You know, because for some people, life is a sprint. You know, it's over quickly.
Right.
And for some of us, we live a very long time, and I look at that as a marathon.
Right.
You know, since I was a runner, I see it in that perspective. And it's like, how do I fit in? And this is like, if the angel can protect and watch over and coexist and watch over the fishes in the sea, then, you know, where am I in that?
Oh my goodness. The angels swimming with the fish.
Yes.
How did that thought process come to you?
As an artist, as a painter, usually 2, 3 in the morning is when, you know, I would have to get up to write or to paint.
Right.
And that's how it really comes about. My job is really easy as a painter as far as all I have to do is choose the colors.
Okay.
And then once I've chose the colors, then I step up and I paint. I was told by one of my mentors, in order to do this work, I wasn't to judge it and I wasn't to criticize it.
Okay.
If I found problems with it or issue with it, then I step back off of it until I'm able to come back to it without that judgment. And because you can always take the paintbrush and cover everything.
Right.
You know, so why would you, you know, have problems with an edge or what's to the left or to the right? You know, it's almost like us as people, you know, we make those judgments. That's what the black and white box is about.
Right.
How we fit in, and we'll go more through that, you know, as the pieces come up. But,
you know, as a writer, sometimes I get inspiration to write clearly while resting. Maybe sometimes while sleeping or dozing off.
yes,
Ideas come to
Yes.
my head.
yes.
Does things like that happen to you? Is it similar?
All the time. All the time. It's just about capturing those moments and being able to write them down and log them at that time, which is good. And that's why I say it's very important as artisans, whether we're writers or painters or musicians, you know, that we portray history in the way it is, you know.
Right. But
that
then,
we don't distort it.
as a writer, I can easily get up and write a sentence. But the picture, whole picture, how would you remember in detail every bit that came to your head?
Oh, it's a rush to get it all out. It is a rush to get it out because when you're going,
Right.
I may be at the canvas painting, and 4 or 5 hours later, it's like, to me, it feels like 15 minutes. It's not 4 to 5 hours
Right.
that I've been painting. Yeah, so it's a passion for me. It's a spiritual gift. That's my best way to,
Okay.
describe it.
We're going to roll in another one so that you explain to us,
Okay.
you know, what exactly it means. Now, what are we looking at here?
This is called Black and White Tapestry,
Okay.
Tree of Love. And that's my senior journey. And that piece was dedicated to my father. He went through a very difficult time prior to his death. And so I wanted to, you know, have something that was kind of uplifting, and that's where you see the heart in the center. That's the tree of love. And this is regarding earth and universal spirit.
Okay.
Okay? And when I speak of the universal spirit, at the bottom of the tree you see, those are the roots. That's our history.
Yes.
The branches, that's today. That's
Right.
what's happening today.
Okay.
The blossoms that you see on the tree is tomorrow.
Right.
And if you look at that, that's a universal spirit of what's really happening. Similar to, I think it was Marcus Garvey that says, you know, a people that without the knowledge of their root and their culture, you know, I mean, without the knowledge of their culture and their origins is like a tree without a root. And you can't have a tree without roots.
So what's the name of that again?
That's Black and White Tapestry, Tree of Love.
Tree of Love. Okay. How about this one?
That piece is called Mask. And that's about unmasking the layers. And we all go through it.
Okay.
You know, like we come in as children in this world, and then there's like a shedding, you know, that happens where we move into adulthood.
Right.
And with what's happening in our world today, you take on so many layers just to exist.
Right.
You know, whether you're in school, whether you're in corporate, there's layers that get stacked on. So, you know, when you turn around, you're 50, 60 years old, you don't even know who you are because you've taken on so many different roles from other people, their thoughts or their feelings of you. And so this is why this piece was very important. It was like peeling back the layers of time on life's marathon.
Say mask.
Mask. Who are you?
Who are you?
You can ask that question of people, and sometimes I get their names because they did not hear the question. The mask sometimes is so thick, it may cover the ears.
The mask. Because we had a guest in July, and it's African voodoo. And he had this documentary of people performing with masks. But there's one that still, anytime I think about that interview, I think of that particular mask. It moved like 100 miles per hour.
Wow.
It came to a point whereby when it was, you know, commanded to stop, it stopped. Then they opened it, and there was no human being in there.
Wow.
And it's some of the Dogon and people of Burkina Faso, you know, they perform this. So the mask that you talk about, I see it in drawing, and I see it also in reality.
Yes.
Right.
And all this is about the reality that I get to see, because as an artist, you're an observer.
And I believe that you want to transpose your paintings into textiles and linens.
Yes.
While in the city here?
Yes, yes. Because I see canvas to me is like a cloth.
Okay.
And sometimes when I'm painting, you know, I've learned how to stretch the canvas, and, you know, I wanted to learn just like the old masters, you know, and how you mix your paints.
Right.
And so after stretching a large canvas, like a 5-foot by 5-foot canvas, when I was painting, it was like there was a sound like a drum where the brush hits the canvas.
Right.
Okay? And to me, it's like it's a fabric that I'm expressing myself on.
Right.
Yes.
Whoa. Now let's see if we can see another one.
This is a black and white tapestry number 4.
Okay.
This is again the boxes and the boundaries. Like you have the black boxes and the white boxes. And within those boxes, I look at it and you can see, well, oh, I'm black and I'm this religion, or I'm black and I'm this other religion,
Right.
or I believe in this political group and not political group. And we keep ourselves divided.
Right.
With all of this, it's like madness in a way.
Even though we're all in the same
We're all in the same boat.
Uh-huh.
We're all in the same frame.
Right.
But we have separated ourselves with the madness. And see, with black being all colors, you can, the colors just stretch all across the paintings.
Right.
And this was an exercise for me. The black and white pieces at first was to see how the colors looked
Right.
against the black and the white. But I then started painting the boxes, and I realized that life was like this.
Right.
I'm African American, I'm here. I'm Jamaican American, I'm over here, and all these different divisions, and we're all going through the same things.
Yes.
And it's like we can miss it because we choose not to learn the history.
Right.
Because I can look at you, you can look at me as an African American and judge me. Oh, you African Americans, you think this way or that way. And you have not even began to walk a mile in our shoes.
Right.
Here, to even understand truly our history. Not his story, but history.
History. Right.
For us.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is what the black and white boxes are about. If you can break it down in the boxes and then you use the colors to connect.
If we can go back to that, I have another question. Remember when I was with you at the library?
Yes.
Brother Alan, if we can bring it back.
Yes.
A young lady from Far East, you could tell the features, and she particularly pointed to the purple line. She said she liked this picture. And we asked her what does she like, what particular portion of the picture that she liked. She said she liked the purple color.
It just stretches through.
Is what?
It stretches throughout the canvas.
Right. But the different colors that you have, can you explain that?
I just choose the colors.
You just choose the colors.
Yeah, on this one here, I just chose the colors, because I wanted to see how that lined up on the black and the white.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no real significance with these colors here. Later on some of the other pieces, there are significant reasons for the colors.
As a host of this show and an unwavering traditionalist, I know the art of writing came to humankind from a god called Jehuti. That God taught us how to read and write. Now, modern people say they invented this, they invented that, they invented that. But there's nothing in the world that human beings just know. We copy.
Right. Right.
We copy because somebody introduced this thing to us, There's another God called, that actually not God, but goddess called Hathor. Taught people how, to sing and dance. And when I was a child growing up, actually at that time, I was about 17, 18 years old when a Congolese, people from the Congo, musicians traveled to our place and they got stranded because they ran out of money. They were musicians. One
Right.
day, one of the musicians told us a story. We used to take them to our houses so that we eat, because it's that kind of people that have no money. So we accommodated them. One day he was telling us about the fact that this voice that he uses to sing, it doesn't belong to him.
Right.
And in Africa, normally if you want to express the sincerity of what you say, you want to swear, you use your middle finger and put it through the soil and lick it. This man didn't do that. What he did was he took off his shoe and licked the shoe. Is art a calling, or are artists sometimes forced spiritually to perform?
For me, I can say it's been a great calling, and I look forward to, doing this work for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I see it as a spiritual journey.
A spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why, the words that come with each painting. I don't just go and put the colors on the canvas. There's something that I'm working out or working through.
Right.
Or a family member could have called you with something very tragic or dramatic, and you work it out or work it through, maybe similar as a writer or a musician.
Right.
You may hear it in their music or their songs. It is our responsibility, honestly, as artisans, to...
And when you're working on a piece, if you don't finish it, do you feel hounded?
Sure.
Feel hounded?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, some pieces may come so quickly, and they're done within a few weeks. Others may be months, and some are years. So it's a process. It's really hard to describe, like I said, because if I'm painting 5 hours and it feels like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
it's a process.
It's a process. Okay, we're going to watch another slide.
That's the rising of the phoenix.
Rising of the Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay.
And this just reminded me of the tale of Phoenix, because one of my second grade classmates, like, Choice, you don't remember? Our second grade teacher we were taught this in second grade. Well, she was the smartest in the classroom, so of course she would remember it. I didn't.
Right.
But at the time when I, did this piece,
Okay.
it came to me. So to retrieve something from second grade and to be able to paint it.
My goodness.
Yeah.
The Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay.
Where the bird sets himself on fire, he renews himself.
Right.
And and I look at that, and it's like, I pray for our nation and our country, because there's a renewal that has to take place, and an evolution that has to happen. To say we need change and don't go about making a change, or to say that we want peace but
Right.
have no conversation around peace.
And there are times that a person will look back and say, I should have done something this way and that way. What would you call your greatest achievement and your worst performance as an artist?
I would say my greatest achievement as an artist to this day would be just the fact that I'm showing.
Okay.
There's a lot of great artists out here, and their work stays in some closet somewhere. It doesn't even get out there for the public.
Right.
Because they have judged themselves inadequate, or not. It's not sufficient. You said my worst achievement?
Right.
It's been difficult not painting.
Okay.
So that would be the hardest thing, is now being able to move forward and go back and start painting every day again, like I was.
You know, when I was growing,
yeah.
right, when I was growing up, there are times that when a person took a particular subject, like geography, right, or history, they used to tell them that, what are you doing? What are you doing taking history? What are you going to do? You go to teach in a classroom? Why don't you become a lawyer or become a doctor or something like that?
That's beautiful.
Art is a profession that is basically, it's like for, people in poverty.
Right.
But you still do it. How is that possible? How do you get the dedication?
It gives back more than, what I feel that I'm doing.
Right.
Because like I said, for me is choosing the colors.
Okay.
Once that's done, then I open up,
right.
Myself to the work that I'm doing, the canvas, and I move forward on the canvas,
right.
and I just paint. Like I said, if I'm having problem with the way the artwork looks, then I can step back off of it until I can come back to it without that judgment. And if we did that more in life, I think we would be in a much, much better space in this world.
But many people in the world now, everybody wants to be rich. And they say art is,
I understand.
Art is a poor subject. If you're an artist, you can one out there for years without life is
right.
very difficult.
And some of the lowest paid people are teachers also.
Right.
So we can start looking and making those changes.
Okay.
And artists do need to be supported in every community.
Right.
To shut down the artists in the communities, you shut down the artists, activists, everything that comes with that. Because if the artist is doing their job, they're also involved in the community. It's not just let me go to my room and just paint. And that's part of it.
Right.
But I don't want to be bothered with people. That's a whole nother issue.
Okay.
I feel, and this is my opinion,
right.
As an artist, you've been given now the responsibility to record the history for the time that you're on this earth.
Okay. What are we looking at here?
That is a black and white tapestry.
Okay.
And that's an untitled piece.
Okay.
And there's two pieces that go together with this here,
okay.
the black and white. And this is just a tree. And this says, are we evolving or revolving in life's marathon?
Okay.
Okay?
Are we evolving or revolving?
Or revolving.
Okay.
Revolving just around, that's why the circular piece. Because I can say revolution revolving is about reality TV.
Right.
The madness we see in the streets.
Okay.
The insanity that's out there where you do the same thing day after day, but you expect different results. It's not going to happen. You're revolving.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
And if we don't evolve as a society, what they say, you're doomed to repeat the past.
Right.
That's revolving.
The next slide is,
and these two go together.
The two of them are together.
Yes.
So this is the white one.
Yes, that's the white
with
piece.
White background.
Yes.
Right.
And that's all about this black and white judgment. That we have in our society. And I shouldn't stop it to say it's just here in America. It's worldwide.
It's worldwide.
It's worldwide
right.
What's going on. And until we handle and respect people for what they bring to the table,
right.
then we're just going to keep on revolving. And that's all those circles are about. We're revolving with the same story.
Right.
That's virtual flight. This piece is about time and space.
Time and space.
Yes, time and space.
Okay.
Like sometimes, you know, you have a deja vu moment like, oh, I've been here before. Or sometimes, you know, how you're just sitting with an individual and you're having such a wonderful conversation.
Right.
And the time and the moments just pass by so quickly, and you look and it's like, oh, it's 3 hours later. I did not realize.
Right.
You know, it just feels like a couple minutes. And that's what you see, the energy of this piece. Like you're standing right in the same space.
Right.
Time is man-made.
Yes.
You know, that's not God.
Right.
So what ends up happening is you're picking up and learning so much in that short space and time. And that's what virtual flight is about. There's no definition in it. It's virtual, it's open, it's totally open. As a computer technician, which I was for many, many years.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow, time and space.
That's about time and space.
About time and space.
And I'd like to, you know, just give a little bit of insight on what I was doing or what I was thinking or feeling in these pieces, because I really don't want to block other people from their blessing and understanding, well, it made me feel this way or I felt this emotion. I love to hear those emotions.
Right. So what media is this? Is this oils, acrylics, canvas, wood?
This is acrylic on canvas. Yes, this is that medium.
This particular one?
Yes.
But how about most of your work?
Most of my work that's hanging here now at the Glenton I Will Library is acrylics.
Right.
I do have an oil piece in here, and it'll be coming up soon.
Okay.
And I will definitely mention that.
All right.
Yeah. And this, you want me to speak about this piece?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. This piece is called Threads of Life. As you see, the purple color, that's about life's threads. You see some are short, they're connected, things like that. That's us, that's people.
Right.
Then you see in the center, the greenish is about the infinity, life infinity.
Okay.
And then the red is like the waves of life that, you know, ups and downs. That's constantly going.
Right.
You know, you're constantly having something that hits you or something that you got to do today or tomorrow you got to get done or whatever. That's constant. Okay? Whereas the purple is your life's journey. Some are short, some are long. Okay? Some of us don't live long in life. We're gone quickly, and some of us live a very, very long life. And that's pretty much what that piece, it was from the Life series. So it's called Threads of Life. There's 4 other pieces that go with that Life series.
Right. I see that your works, you were not too much concerned about yourself, you know, financially. You're talking about you want to contribute to charity.
Yes.
And organizations, non-governmental organizations. How did that idea come about? And which organization are you planning to help?
Well, I can say the ideals came about because as children, one of the things on a monthly basis, we would go out to the nursing homes with my parents, and we would sing and perform or take baked goods and things like that. So that's been a part of my life since I can even remember. You know, all of us going. And the charities, some of the proceeds from the sale of this artwork, and I'm also out on GoFundMe. Also, is for the people of Yonkers.
People of Yonkers.
Wonderful location in the Westchester area,
Okay.
right near the river. And the organizations, I will go through more of what the organizations, but why am I doing this? Or why not? You know, why shouldn't I? Can I give my time? Yes. I do go out and since I was young, give my time as a volunteer to organizations, and now I'm standing up to raise money, do fundraisers. I've done fundraisers since I was young. You know, as far as track and field, we had to raise funds for, you know, for the junior nationals and the events that we traveled around to all over the nation. So there was always someone helping us out.
Right.
If we do not do what we need to do for the communities that we're in, then they're lost.
Right.
These young people, you have brilliant minds in communities across the country.
Right.
And these kids have to pretty much, being intelligent, you have to hide it to exist. Who heard of such thing? You know?
Right.
Whereas that education is not a priority in everyone's home. I realize as with my travels around the 2 other countries, as Africa, Central America, education is very, very important.
Right.
It is a high priority. But for some reason here, young people that show that gift are beaten down in the streets or bullied in the schools. And adults stand around and watch. And they don't intervene in the way they need to. So this charity, the fundraising that I'm doing, makes sure that these young people receive, you know, the extra scholarship money, whatever, you know, that they need in order to succeed in life. Because if we do not invest in our future, what future?
There's no future.
So I rather invest in educating our future.
Okay.
Then it's more important for me to put, you know, $150 sneakers on my child. I'd rather take $150 and put it into a savings for that child and keep building on that savings so that child can go on to college. I mean, for me, and that's just an opinion. You know, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
That as a society, we have to help each other. We have to stand strong as a community. And when over and over I hear these stories of young, smart, brilliant kids being taken too soon, it makes no sense. And they actually need, even when they come in from college and things, they need the support of the community.
Right.
You know, so they can manage that day-to-day coming back into an environment that didn't quite celebrate them. You know, it's like, oh, I just got out of jail. Oh, let's have a party. Oh, I just graduated from college. She thinks she's smart.
Right.
You know, so there's that's that revolving nature in our society.
Right. So you're going to be supporting the people of Yonkers, especially the Yonkers Library?
The 3 organizations that I looked at is Sister to Sister International.
Okay.
They support STEM camp for young girls between the ages of 12 and 18.
Okay.
And when I say STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. Africans were all those things.
Right.
So we just have to remember and understand our history. And when I use the word African, African is all colors. And until we start breaking down and putting all these boxes, okay? So with the support of the STEM girls, also there's the wellness part of it, which you need a well society in order to move forward. You have to be healthy in order. I had a wise woman says, that is the greatest gift that you can have is your health.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of you were asking about money. Oh, money would be wonderful, but what good is it if you don't have good
You're not
health?
healthy.
You can't buy good health with
Right.
money.
Okay.
Yes. And the third thing that Sister to Sister International do is their global outreach,
Okay.
which their global exchange with other cultures all around in Africa and other places. I think that's very important because that's one of the, I see one of the reasons that I see us revolving here in this country. A lot of us have been disconnected from our history. So when we think of something, we feel like we made it up when it had existed thousands and hundreds of thousands of years before we even thought of it.
Right.
It was always there. But if we don't understand our history, we're lost.
Yes.
And that's what you see a lot in the culture. You know, people say, well, this group or that group is violent. The violence come and all these aspects. The madness comes from not knowing who you are.
Right.
And until we start really truly educating this society again, and putting the information out and removing these his stories book,
Right.
and putting history back into our classrooms, putting civics back into our classroom, and empowering our students with knowledge, we rather empower them by, oh, well, the clothes that they have on look nice,
Yes.
than what they have up here.
Up there. Right.
And most of them are walking around and they have no understanding or knowledge of their history. Because if someone says to me, oh, well, you speak so different, you don't speak like you're from the ghetto or whatever, that's because you don't even understand your own history.
Right.
You don't even have knowledge of your history because you would not say those comments.
Right.
Okay? Or if someone says to me, oh, you sound European, do you know who was speaking first? You know?
Right.
And if you open up and you have an understanding of your history, you will not have the need to feel insulted when someone can speak to you in 5, 6 different languages.
No.
When they come to this country.
Right.
And I've met some friends still to this day that can speak in 5 different languages, but I still hear sometimes when I'm around other American friends saying things like, oh, they don't speak English very well. No, they just speak 6 different languages.
Right.
You know? So I think we have to start evolving and stop revolving. You know.
Okay.
So that's, and the other charity, I'm sorry, would be the African History and High Culture Club at the WA campus at the University for Development Studies, and that's in Ghana.
Right.
And I had traveled to Ghana, so I chose this because the Ghanaians are a part of the Yonkers Society also.
Okay.
So I wanted to extend, that's the global outreach of us as a community, because we're all connected.
Okay.
So to say, oh, well, we can only do for someone that looks like me or have this shade or something, this is not what Black and White Tapestry about.
Right.
Because we're all one.
Okay.
Okay? And the third charity is the Luther V. Garrison Senior Fund.
Okay.
And this is part of the Luther V. Garrison Senior Fund is part of the Masonic Foundation in the the Yonkers area. Masonic has a very the history is very, very long, and I don't want to express it because I don't, know all of it, but I am aware of it.
Okay.
And they operate as a community-based organization, helping to feed the hungry, giving scholarships to students, mentoring students when they come back from college. So, living in this Yonkers area, these were the 3 organizations. It wasn't about them talking about what they were doing.
Right.
They were actually doing it. They were about the doing.
Okay.
And that's why I've chosen these organizations. So the information will be out there on my Facebook page.
Right.
And I think that's going to be given at the towards the end. If you go to my Facebook, and I've set up a GoFundMe in order to help to support the charities. The African History and High Culture is seeking funds to rent space for books,
right,
and for their library,
right,
and these things are out here. So I'm from Polytech, NYU Polytech. I graduated, so I will definitely be putting the word out to my Polytech students to make sure that they go out and donate in order to make sure that engineering students keep learning, and we have great material and information out there for them.
Oh, beautiful.
And so that's how I feel as an artisan I can help.
Okay. Now let's see if we can go to another one. Wow, this is the one that I see. Yeah, I really see a cockerel there.
Someone said, "Oh, there's a rooster there."
Right.
This is called Fire Spirit.
Okay.
This was my first oil piece. So
Whoa.
this is the oil on canvas. And this for me is, I say, stories around the campfire. I grew up in Midwest America.
Okay.
So we used to go camping as kids.
Okay.
We did the camping thing, and you had Girl Scouts, Brownie Scouts, Cadets, all those different things. My brothers were in Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts. So they were involved, and it was a way to keep young people involved back in the day, and you got to understand nature, how to build a fire, and all those other things. So if you're ever stranded or trapped, how do you survive in the woods? How do you get your directions?
Right.
How do you find water?
Right.
How do you know what water to drink? If you touch poison ivy, where's the antibody, the antigen that will, wipe it away?
Right.
And it's usually found right beside it. So there's a lot of things I learned. I learned how to start a fire with flint, which is the rock.
Right.
Or how do you even find the flint? So that's what this piece
is about.
Yeah.
Now, you did talk about your mentor.
Yes.
And I don't want us to finish this without you mentioning,
Oh, yes, I have to mention the names.
Right.
Yes.
Who, tell us who the person was, how, the mentoring occurred.
First, when I lived out, I was running with World Class Track Club out in Los Angeles in the 80s.
Okay.
A very, very good dear friend of mine to this day. Her name is Darlene McRoyal.
Okay.
And Darlene is, she's a child prodigy, brilliant artist. And not that I knew that at the time, but I used to travel around with her to the different museums, and I just saw sights and things that I couldn't even imagine. And then, oh gosh, what is it? About 10 years after that, I started painting. And my mentor that gave me the paintbrush was Elena Shakur. And Elena was in my life for a short time because she became ill at that point.
Oh, I see.
And so the next mentor that came into my life, his name was Samuel Akenya. He is a Ghanaian artist.
Right.
Fabulous painter. Brilliant mind. He writes scores of music. He's a lawyer. I mean, just when you see his work, if you Google it, it's Akenya.
Right.
Yes, and he, helped to push me, forward that time that I was in Chicago. And just the wonderful people of the Chicago area that supported me while I was learning and picking this up, and they really supported me and said, keep going, keep going. academic, corporate, all came over to my home studio to see my work, and it was just amazing. And the people of the East Village and the Upper West Side of New York City has just been such amazing and has embraced me and my art. And now I'm here in the Yonkers area, and I'm just enjoying sharing the art right now.
Beautiful.
And love to sell.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So we can definitely get some funds in here for the different organizations.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's see this one.
This is called Black and White Tapestry and Flower. And this is a 4-piece painting. And this is all about the boxes and colors again.
Right.
You know, I can break this down into so many different boxes, but this is enough just to get the point across. It's like right, wrong, good, bad, peace, war, love, hate.
Right.
These are all different boxes that we find ourselves in as people.
Right.
And until we unmask, we don't really know which box we're in.
Right.
We're thinking we're in the box, this other box, but we see that we're all the way to the right or to the left. Yeah.
I just want us to touch on the awards that, you've received so far.
Okay.
We're running out of time, so if you could just let us know quickly as possible.
I started off at the Soka Gakkai, which is the Buddhist, one of the Buddhist temples in Chicago, and that was their spring art show. The Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago also, I was an honorable mention back in the 90s, late 90s. Chicago Historical Society, I did a show there. John Marshall Law School, Chicago Bar Association in 2001. My alma mater, Ohio State University. Then from there, the West Side, Upper West Side here in New York City, and the Federation of East Village Artists. And a special thanks also to the New York Studio School here in Manhattan. I received scholarships to learn drawing and paintings from some of the best in the field since I was self-taught. So I took a couple classes, and that was wonderful.
Great. Ms. Choice, thank you for gracing Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
African traditionalism is different. Different is not deficient. Different is not devilish. Different is not uncivilized. Different is not ungodly. Different is just different. For those of you watching the show for the first time, welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. For my regular viewers, continue to watch because we have just embarked on a journey with African traditionalism. May Amon Ra continue to bless us. Take care.